everyone, and welcome to another review from Colour with Claire. Today we're looking at the latest edition of the Colouring Heaven magazine. This is the Nouveau Fantasy Special with 40 intricate and elegant fantasy designs by Herb Leonard. So you can see just from the cover here a little snapshot of the kind of artwork it's got inside. So very much centred in the fantasy, the mythological, different kinds of creatures. You can see this looks like a troll and a fairy maybe, or a queen. Then you've got a unicorn and a dragon, and it's also got this kind of Art Nouveau look to it as well with the framing here. So we'll look on the back, and it's very much the same thing. You've got the beautiful intricate framework, and then the dragon in the centre with the Celtic knot going around as well. As usual, it's got beautiful gold foiling to the title, and the cover is fully colourable. So we open up and it tells you a little bit about Herb Leonard, the artist for this issue. It says Herb was born in Germany but grew up in the United States, where he lives today with his wife, son, 2 horses, 4 cats and a plethora of chickens. A childhood spent within the pages of beautifully illustrated books and comics led Herb to a love of illustration and artists, including the Pre-Raphaelites, Maxfield Parrish, Alphonse Mucha and Brian Froud. Now with a career in illustration spanning over 30 years, Herb has illustrated over 50 books and earned numerous awards and international acclaim. So it's likely that you'll have heard of him before. Now here you can see that we have the colour combination chart for you to reference and chart your colours, and it goes straight into the first illustration. So we have a really funny looking dragon just sat reading his books. Obviously it's going to be a very whimsical book with all of these mythological creatures, and there's plenty of big scenes as well for you to colour. It's not just one thing in the centre of the page. So again, we have all of that intricate framework and knot work. We've got a unicorn here encased in a frame of flowers, and I love how the tail is also adding to the framework of the page as well. So if you're into this kind of artwork, fantasy, you know, very much centred in mythology and that kind of thing, you'll adore this book. And I mean, some of the scenes are absolutely brilliant. You just look here at this dragon playing chess with, I think that's the troll guy maybe from the front cover. It looks, maybe it could be the giant at the top of the beanstalk, and he's playing chess with the dragon, and you can see that the actual rook that he's moving is the turret from the castle, and we've got knights and real bishops and queens fighting on the chessboard. It's just such amazing imagination really to come up with these ideas. So we've got another dragon here, beautifully ornate wings. Now this one has actually got a little bit of a tale behind it. So this is called Bard of the Greenwood. It says the legend of Robin Hood has been passed down through the ages by professional storytellers and verse makers known as bards. This, one of the best known English folklore tales dating from the Middle Ages, tells the story of a heroic outlaw named Robin Hood, who along with his band of merry men takes refuge in the greenwood, stealing from the rich to give to the poor after returning from the Crusades and finding his land taken by the Sheriff of Nottingham. So obviously this particular one has a special place in my heart, seeing as I'm from Nottingham and grown up around the legend of Robin Hood, and I was in Sherwood Forest not too long ago actually, so beautiful. And then you've got all of the others as well, Lord of the Reedy River, and it tells you all about it there in case you didn't know, and some of them are just illustrations without any kind of background. So plenty of dragons. Now this is the Ride of the Valkyries, so you can see a Valkyrie here. The dragon, loads of dragons. We've got horses, and it looks like these men are carrying one of their fallen on their back, and this looks like it could be Thor. It's called Goethe. I can't know. It's German for Twilight of the Gods, and apparently it's a cycle of 4 musical dramas titled Ring of the Nibelung or Nibelung by the composer Wagner. This is called Parsifal. It's an opera, apparently, another opera by Wagner. Lohengrin is a romantic opera composed by Wagner, again in 1850, based on a medieval German romance of the same name. So I really like how it also gives you a bit of history to it as well. It kind of brings the illustration more to life and gives it more meaning. So this is obviously a big sea dragon coming out of the waves here, and all of the guys on the ship are looking a bit worse for wear. Again, some beautiful scenes, all in very decorative frames. And this is the one that I've obviously started. This is the Green Man, and it says found in many cultures and from many ages around the world. The Green Man represents vegetative deity as being a symbol of rebirth and representing the cycle of growth in spring. And I've started this with Derwent Inktense pencils, mainly because I wanted to see how the Inktense would go down on this paper. And even though it is slightly wrinkled, it's flattened out really nicely actually, and I haven't had any books on top of it or anything to flatten it down. It's just naturally taken the water, and it looks really good. This is the Holly King and the Dryad Dance, a Greek mythological tree nymph. This is Herne the Hunter. Apparently it's a ghost that resides in the county of Berkshire in the UK. Looks a little bit like a centaur, but obviously different. We've got a close-up of a unicorn here and a fairy with lots of sparkles and glitter dust. We've got a unicorn by the river. A giant dragon, look a bit like Smaug on top of his big pile of treasure. She's got a dragon sort of wrapped around her, again with this Art Nouveau frame. Lots of Celtic knotwork. We have the maiden, the mother and the crone here. The triple goddess has been adopted by many neo-pagans as their primary deities, symbolising separate stages in a female life cycle, phases of the moon, or rulers of earth, underworld and heavens. This is the Tam Lin, and this has got a really nice long biography about this. It originates in the Scottish borders, where a mortal man fell from his horse and was captured by a fairy queen. So I love the little stories that go with these. Another dragon. Another dragon. If you love colouring dragons, this is your book. Unicorns, again with that kind of same flower frame. Love this one. It's a little tiny fairy sat on what looks like a bird bath, obviously a unicorn feeder. Very, very sweet. This would be a gorgeous illustrated children's book, don't you think? Here we've got a mouse with a cup of tea, a frog with a cup of tea. I think they're just having a nice little chill out there. Tea party in the woods. This one looks like quite a juvenile dragon, like maybe a baby dragon, and we've got what could be a wizard or a wizard dentist, I think, sorting his teeth out there. This is Morgan Le Fay, also known as Morgana, a powerful enchantress from the Arthurian legend. And of course, everybody knows Merlin, the legendary wizard of Arthurian folklore. And he's got all of his bits and bobs here. He's got his staff and his magic crystal ball. We've got Lady of the Lake. We've got Arthur himself, King Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot. So we're getting into the names that everybody knows and loves. And that was it. That's the last page. So basically, if you kind of like this very heavily centred in fantasy and kind of old British folklore with the Lancelot and things like that and the King Arthur, this is an absolutely fantastic book. And even if you don't you're not into any of that, you just got to appreciate the sheer quality of illustrations on offer and some of the really fun themes and ideas behind each one. So as always, you can get Colouring Heaven in all of your good supermarkets and newsagents if you live in the UK. If you can't get to your local newsagents, you can click the link in the description of this video and it will take you to where you can buy this online. Same goes for further afield. If you live anywhere around the world, you can also get a copy of this sent to you on the links in the description. And of course you can sign up for the subscription so that a new Colouring Heaven will fall on your doormat every single month without you having to do anything. So I really hope you've enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this month's edition, and I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.